guys, so I was asked to do a video on how I transitioned from after pharmacy school into being independent and like living on my own, and I thought it was a good idea to do this now. A lot of people are graduating right now and I always get this question every time. So I have some backstory of how I did it and some tips and stuff that I can share with you guys on how to transition maybe out of school or maybe out of your parents' house and starting your own independent life, maybe in the same city, in a different city. So we'll get all into that. All right, so first things first is prepping. So prepping will be some months or maybe even like a year before you have a date or a time that you want to, you know, move out, move on, or start a new place. So prepping involves money, obviously. So first, make sure you're either working or maybe have a source of money to maybe borrow from like your family, like your parents, to help you get that transition from living with them or being in college and then moving out on your own. So along with money, you got to prep on where exactly did you want to start out on your own. So for me, I had a list of cities that I was very much open to and I applied to jobs there. And then once I made that list, then I looked into the cost of living there, and then also looked into what neighborhoods I would like to live in, and then made a list of apartments that I'll look into maybe later when I actually know what city that I'll live in. Apartment.com, Zillow, Rent.com, and Apartment Finder. And just made a list of apartments, just looking on the computer what I would see, like, okay, this looks good, I could live here. Just make a list. So do that for every city that you're going to be applying to. Once you have that list, just set it aside. I actually put it on like a bookmark, a bookmark on my laptop, and then saved it for later. It's getting closer to when you have the date where you want to move out or graduation or whatever. And the next thing to do is figure out how much you're going to be making with this job that you have, you know, assuming that you have a job lined up. Every city has their own, what would I call it, like their own cost of living and pay rate for your profession. So look into like the average cost of pay, or maybe you even already know how much they're going to be paying you and then how many hours you're going to be working per each paycheck. So once you get an idea of that, then you can actually estimate how much you'll be bringing in a month. Are you going to be getting paid bi-weekly or monthly? And don't forget to estimate how much taxes they're going to be taking out of your paycheck per month. So I actually got the job offer with Walmart in a city in Ohio. So once I got that job offer, then I already had the list of apartments that I already looked into that I would like to visit once I get the job, and I'll go to that city. Before I move, I'll go to that city and see like which apartments I like. So once I got the job offer, I was able to estimate how much I'll be making a month, along with how much I would think that they would take out for taxes. And then with that, I was able to estimate how much I could afford per month for an apartment. When you're making that list of apartments to look into, there's apartments, there's condos, there's townhomes, and then there's houses that you can rent. Each one has their plus and minuses. Each one has their own types of maybe like expenses or like how much they would be compared to the other. When you rent with an apartment, like I live right now, I actually live in a condo. So with the condo, it's a lot more flexible with what you can do to the condo, the fees for the condo, and then the price of it, and then also the area that it's in, and then all the amenities that come with it. It's very much like an apartment, but condos are much bigger, and as I said, they're more flexible on what you can do with it. So when I got here, I could have painted all the rooms black if I wanted to, and then that would be fine. But sometimes with apartments, you're not able to change up the area as much, so that can be a factor. Also, if you plan on renting a house, you may not have to pay so much per month, because when you pay for like a condo or an apartment, your payment goes into the maintenance of the whole property, the pool, the clubhouse, the office, stuff like that. So bear in mind that maybe renting a house might be a little bit cheaper than an apartment or a condo, but then with that, you're more responsible for all the things that go into the house. So if there's plumbing problems, lighting problems, electric problems, you're responsible for finding someone to come in and fix that, and you pay for it. But with like my condo and apartment, we have a maintenance person that does that, and I don't have to pay extra for it. You just call them and say, oh, this problem is going on, and they can come fix it. So if you're starting out on your own, it may be a little bit more easier to maybe have like a condo, apartment, or something like that, because you have people that can help you with anything. But if you would like to do a house, be a little bit more cheaper, but a little bit more responsibility goes into that. All right, so maybe you're at the point where you have the city where you're going to be going, and you have your list of apartments, and then you go to the city and start looking. You don't have to make an appointment, you can just show up, but some places do require an appointment, so look into that. But once you get to the city where you're going to be moving to in the future, and then you go visit them, you want to ask them, along with the rent, what are the utility costs or the average utility cost that the person paid before, or is there like a set price or just the range, so that you know another expense you'll have per month on top of your rent. And then with that, you also have like renter's insurance that goes into that. So ask the people that are showing you the place, the property, how much is renter's insurance, or maybe do they have a company where they actually work with or are in collaboration with, that their tenants do their renter's insurance from, because that's another expense you got to calculate with your monthly rent. Now you have living expenses. That includes groceries, utilities, gas, cable, internet, and your water. So for me, when I got here and the place I was looking at, I always asked the office, so what cable provider is available in this area? And they actually told me. So with that, you can also look up online, or even call the company, how much are your packages, your bundles for cable, internet. Maybe you just want internet and you don't want to do cable. You probably have like Hulu or Netflix or something. For me right now, I actually canceled my cable and actually have Hulu and Netflix, but I actually pay for my internet still. And within this living complex that I live in, there's only one cable and internet provider that's actually available here, and that's Spectrum. I actually wanted to know if there was like Comcast or AT&T that was available, and they do not service this area. So make sure you look into what the area you're going to be living in, what cable and internet provider is serviced there. So then with groceries, for me, I live alone. So when I moved out of college, I had to estimate like how much would I spend on groceries. So for me, I think I budgeted like maybe $100 to $150 every other week for groceries for myself. Over the years, it's gone up, it's gone down. It just depends on more on like my diet and stuff, and how I'm actually eating and how much I'm socializing. Maybe for lunch or dinners throughout the weeks, I might be with somebody or like go meet up with friends, and I don't have to make dinner. But it all depends on your lifestyle and like how you eat and stuff like that. But just factor in, just think about, okay, I have my rent, I have utilities, cable, internet, and then how much will I spend on food? And then with that, how much will I spend on gas? Is my job close to where I'm living? Is it far? There's a website online that you can actually put in like your car and how much you're going to be driving and your zip code, and it can actually calculate how much gas you will spend for so many miles. So it's a good estimator on how much you think you'll spend per week or per month on gas. Now next is health insurance. So usually health insurance is provided through your job. For me, when I started at Walmart, I was in between a stage of where you're eligible to be on your parents' insurance and then having your own insurance. But with having your own insurance and starting a new job, when I started with Walmart, I was hired as part-time, and you're not eligible for insurance until you work there for a year. So I was past 26, being eligible to be on your parents' insurance, but I wasn't eligible for workers' insurance. So I was stuck in the middle. So my dad was actually able to extend my coverage for myself until I was able to be at Walmart for a year and gain insurance through them. So once I finished that whole year and I was actually transitioned into salary, then I was able to be eligible for insurance. And then with that, you get to choose your rate. If you want to do, the way I did it, I have a health savings account and then a higher premium that I pay. And every paycheck, money is taken out and put into my health savings account. I choose how much I want to put in there, and you can choose that too. So you can put like $10 or $100. So what I did was, when I started working there, with my after the year I can put in money for my health savings account, I actually put in a lot every paycheck. So I put in like $130 of my paycheck into my health savings account. I did that for like, I think like a year. Yeah, I think I did that for the year, and I was able to accrue a couple thousands of dollars into my health savings account. Then once I was able to reach that point where I was like, okay, maybe I can like cut back now, then I cut it back to, I forget how much I'm at it now, but I cut it back like half per paycheck into my health savings account. So I still get money in there, but not as much as the beginning. But I really wanted to build a really good health savings account cushion. So then along with that, then you actually have money where you take out for the coverage part. You can add on for like eye coverage, dental, stuff like that, life insurance. What else do they have on there? If there's like an illness or a crisis. So if you want to add on to your package, it increases the amount they take out per month. So just bear in mind that that's another expense that's going to be taken out of your paycheck per month. You got to factor in. So once I had all that together, then I had to think about how much I want to put in for savings. So the rule of thumb is to do 10% of your check to put into savings. You can have a savings account for just general stuff. You can have a savings account for emergencies. Then you can have a savings account for like future. Everyone can do their savings account any way they want. They can have one, they can have two, they can have three, whatever. But the rule of thumb is 10% of your paycheck put into savings. And it's really important that when you starting out, to make sure you put, if you can't put a lot because maybe you have loans to pay off and stuff like that, still put in something, because it's always good to have emergency money or just money that you have for yourself, for savings, for anything that may come up. All right, so now I'm gonna backtrack and go back to, you have your list of cities that you're applying to for a job, and then say, okay, this job offer gave me an offer. Now, the one thing that is very important to factor in is the moving expenses, because moving from one place to another is expensive. Even if it's like an hour away, 30 minutes away, a whole state away, cross country, it's gonna have an expense. So not only will you have expense with the actual moving, like hiring a moving company or maybe renting a truck and driving it yourself, you'll have the expense of when you get to that place and you find an apartment, you're gonna have security deposit, and then you also have like a first month's or last month's rent fee to pay too along with that. And then when you set up your utilities and set up cable and internet, all that stuff has fees, and sometimes we forget that. So factor in, how much you think it will cost for you to move from point A to point B. For me, I'll tell you my backstory now. Once I was able to get a job offer with Walmart and move from Pittsburgh all the way to Ohio. So my parents have taken care of me all throughout my schooling, and I'm very grateful that I do not have any like loans or anything to pay off, but I'm grateful for that. But the one thing I love is that my parents set me up to be able to take care of myself once I finished school. Like my last day of pharmacy school, I was cut off from everything from my parents. So it was scary, but it felt really like powerful and liberating to me, because I'm able to, put all of the things that I've learned now to the test and be on my own and take care of myself. So once I finished pharmacy school and I moved, my parents gave me, and going back to that whole prepping, as I said, you have a job and you're saving up, or you're gonna borrow money from family or parents to help you get from point A to point B, and then you'll be on your own. So for me, the last money my parents gave me to this day is that money that I used to stay at a hotel when I got to my new city, the new job. So I had training for 2 weeks for my new job. So I stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks, and that what I used for that money was, what I used for the hotel was the money my parents gave me. So we had training for 2 weeks, and then in those 2 weeks I was training, and then I was also looking at the list of apartments that I've already made and going to look at them, checking them out, picking one. And then once I picked one and I had my first paycheck after the 2 weeks, then I used that money to pay, so I used that money to pay the deposit, security deposit, and the first month's rent, and then set up my utilities and my cable and my internet, and I think that's all the expenses I actually had. So yeah, so that's what I used my first paycheck to, was to get from out of the hotel into my apartment. From there, every paycheck, I made sure that I made a list of priorities of what I need to buy with each paycheck to get myself together. My mom was actually the one that actually helped me move my stuff from like the hotel into like my new apartment, so I didn't have to pay for movers for that, which I'm very grateful for that. Because one thing I did was, when I was in Pittsburgh, I actually sold all my furniture, and I didn't have so much load to bring to the new city, and that money that I got from selling my furniture was part of the money that I used to help set myself up in the new city. So I actually did both. I actually borrowed money from my parents, and then I actually had my own money that I had from selling my furniture and a little bit of savings. So I remember that after I got my first check, I was able to move in, and then I didn't have any furniture at this point. So my mom suggested that to help with my credit and to actually be able to get a lot of furniture that I need like right now, to go to a furniture store that I can finance some furniture. So I found a furniture store, I applied for the credit, and I was approved, and then I picked a whole bedroom set and a mattress. Yeah, a whole bedroom set and a mattress. So with that, I was able to help build my credit, and then they gave me how much I'll be paying monthly, and then I think it was like no interest for like 18 months or something, but I was able to pay off that whole credit with like the next 1 or 2 paychecks, so I didn't have to worry about interest and everything like that, so which was really good. So I got the credit, increased my history, and then paid it off, which was great. So I got my bedroom set. So my next order of business was to get couches. So my next paycheck, I bought couches, and I bought it from this overstock warehouse that we have here in Ohio, and I bought my couches. I still have them here. So I bought my couches, and then had couches and a bedroom. So my next paycheck, my priority was to get a new laptop, because I was still doing YouTube and I still wanted to continue that and increase the quality of my content and have a better laptop, because my laptop I had was so bad. So my next paycheck, I got my MacBook Air, and then after that I got a new camera, my Canon T3i that I'm using right now. And then after that, then that's when I was able to get all the big important stuff out of the way, and then do like decorating and getting like wall decorations and pillows and all the fancy stuff, and then put like my beauty room together, you know, get closet organizers, get other appliances for my kitchen, all that stuff. So little by little I was building what I had, being independent, and I was really proud of myself that I was able to just make it on my own. It wasn't easy, because you know, you're living paycheck to paycheck in the beginning, because I was coming from school. I was able to buy a new car after I worked at Walmart for a year. So the next year I bought my car, and before that, when I was in high school, my dad bought me a car, and when I was in college he bought me another one. So going into like my new job, being independent, if I want a new car, I have to get it myself. So I made a list of my choices, went to go look at them. So with that actually helps boost my credit. So I was able to apply for that to get that car, and I got it. And then another factoring in of your monthly payments for your whole expenses and stuff like that. And then along with that, I wanted to travel. I not married yet. Like, this is when I first moved here, so I'm not married yet. So I want to experience the world and travel, and being in pharmacy school, you have no room to like have fun or travel. So I was like, I need to make up for all those years that I missed in traveling. So a lot of my personal expenses went to traveling. Everyone has their own types of personal expenses that they'll have and what they want to put it towards. So mine was traveling, and I'm very happy that I did that. Had so many great experiences. So yeah, so the last thing I just want to say is, when you're starting out on your own, it's not always easy. Just don't forget that it's not easy, but keep working hard, keep grinding. If you ever need help, you know you have family and friends that can help you out in any way, not just monetarily, but with helping hands, suggestions, ideas. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys have any other questions or anything else to say, or if you have any tips, please put them down below, because I know there's other people out there that will need plenty of tips and ideas on how they can transition from college or living with their parents into being independent. With that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.